So let's talk about that trade deadline again. This was the big topic all week. Why the Niners did nothing. I think some people feel like, well, this is why the Niners did nothing, because they just got destroyed by the Los Angeles Rams by 16 points. And if they had traded for Jalen Phillips, they still would have lost to the Rams by double digits. That's why they didn't do anything. Yeah, but listen to what George Kittle said. George Kittle said that their offense is only going to get better and it's going to be elite and it's going to be a Super Bowl offense with this franchise quarterback and all this talent and Ben Barch. But there isn't any talent coming back on the defense. Michael Williams isn't coming back. Nick Bosa isn't coming back. Fred Warner isn't coming back. Keon White, that was a nice addition. He had a sack today. How about another guy? Keon White they absolutely needed to make that trade. They needed to make two more. And I think what's so funny about the reasoning not to make a trade is, well, they need their picks. You can't just throw away picks. They're so precious. Why would you trade a third round pick for a player you know is good when you could save it and use it to draft a player who might be good? Why would you do that? Why would you trade a third round pick for Jalen Phillips, who's in his prime? He's in his mid-20s. You could re-sign him and keep him around for the next 5 years. Why would you spend your third round pick on a player you know is good when you can save it and spend it on a kicker next year? This is the same team that spent a third round pick on Jake Moody. They throw third round picks away. How many times have they drafted a guy who was projected to go in round 5 or 6 in round 3? They did it this year. They took Nick Martin in round 3. He was projected to go in round 5 by everyone. NFL.com, CBS, Athletic, you name it. The Niners were like, no. We really don't care about third round picks. We're going to reach. Because third round picks are meaningless. There's basically no difference between a third round pick and a fifth round pick. So if there's a guy we like in round 5 with a 5th round grade and we're afraid he might not be there, we're going to take him in round 3 because what's the freaking difference? Doesn't matter. They did that with Cam Latu. They drafted Cam Latu in round 3. He was projected to go in round 5. They had George Kittle. They were taking him to be a backup blocking tight end. They needed a replacement for Charlie Werner. And they're like, damn, that's a perfect time to that's when we take the guy in round 3. The only good third round pick they've ever made was Fred Warner. They have like a 95% failure rate in round 3. The second best third round pick they made was Upton Stout, and he may not be good. Am I missing someone here? I mean, CJ Beathard, Akello Witherspoon, Ambry Thomas, on and on and on and on and on. You wouldn't trade a third round pick, but you'll throw it away on some backup next year? Or reach? That's what I don't understand. Yes, the Niners aren't one player away. Yes, they were going to lose to the Rams one way or another in this game. The Rams were totally fired up. They needed to make a statement. The statement is they're going to be in the Super Bowl on this field. And the statement the Niners made is, we're not. And I think what sucks about that, look, maybe the players agree, maybe the coaches agree. Who knows how they really feel? But I just can't get over the fact that Jed York is okay with this. You're at 6-3. Your window's open now. And you just do nothing? I bet if Leeds United, I don't know how soccer works, but if Leeds United lost a defender, I bet you Parag and Jed will go out and get a new one. Because it's really important what's going on with Leeds. They lost today. They lost 3-1. And if they keep losing, they'll get relegated back to the, what is it? The Premier League and the Champions League or whatever. I don't know. I'm not British. I don't give a damn about soccer. The Yorks do. They need there's a lot of pressure on Leeds this year to stay in the Premier League and not get relegated. So whatever it takes, no expense spared. But the Niners, it's not their year. So, you happen to be 6-3? Don't care. Sorry. Are you a soccer team? Then I can't help you. It's not football's year. Maybe 2026. Maybe 2027. It's a 3-year plan, apparently. And they got a long way to go. But the soccer team, that's got some real urgency. You know what? I don't care. I don't root for these teams, but I'm really rooting against Leeds United. I hope they get relegated. What a stupid side project. What a distraction. You've never won a championship, and now you're trying to win multiple championships at once with multiple teams? You won't. They lost 3-1 today, Leeds United. I wonder if the Niners if York's going to get them some reinforcements because they need it. I got another thing I want to say when I'm ranting. I've talked about for a while why I hate the concept of a core. It's one team. And in football, players go down so quickly that the whole next man up mentality has to be, you have to believe it. Because once you believe you can't win, then you don't win. And I feel like what we saw today is a team that lost belief in itself. I have one more thing I want to say about the trade deadline before I go to the core. Sorry, I had a point I was trying to make about the trade deadline. Here's why what they did was so disheartening and why it led to this trouncing. Everyone knew the Niners defense didn't have enough. It's not good enough. They've lost too much. And no one expected them to replace Hall of Famers with Hall of Famers. But as currently constituted, the defense isn't good enough. They're going to have more bad games like this. They can't do anything well. And yet the offense is really good. And yet their record is really good. And yet the schedule's easy and the Super Bowl's here. So everyone acknowledged defense isn't good enough. We did. The team knows it. And the front office, the owners said, sorry. Yes, the defense isn't good enough, but there's nothing we're going to do about it. Because why? Because we don't really care, because it's not our year, because soccer's more important, because we have a 3-year plan. I don't know. They won't explain it. But the fact is, the defense isn't good enough. They know it. We know it. They chose to do nothing about it. No, excuse me. They traded for Keon White. That's it. So don't fucking talk about how good your offense is. Don't talk about how you can go on a deep run in the playoffs. You know your defense sucks. And you chose to do nothing about it. I don't blame Kyle and Saleh. I don't. I blame Jed York. Eddie DeBartolo wouldn't have let this shit happen. 42 points you give up to your number one rival, in-state rival, at home. Just a few days after the trade deadline, you could have done something about this. You did nothing. You invited this embarrassment onto yourself. So you could smile and say, see, this is why we didn't make a trade at the trade deadline. See, Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code COHN, COHN, and download the app now.